Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. You can see, and I'll flip it around here in a second, we have made a lot of progress this week. We'll call it part two, but essentially, I've got, I'll see it bring it up there. There you can see she's looking pretty darn good, and we're getting a lot of parts back on the engine here. So I'm not going to bore you to death with every minute detail, but what I will do is kind of walk you through what I did. If I can remember the parts I got, I will flash that up. But I've cleaned this block up pretty darn well. It's pretty amazing. This thing is sat. Let's flip you around. You can see that this thing, it's sat for quite a few years. But you look at this. This was from a rebuild that I did 10 plus years ago, 13 years ago. Repainted everything real nice, cleaned it up really good. Ended up using various wire wheels to clean the crud off. Then I got Pontiac engine blue, and you can see it here, silver engine metallic. I think I got this. It's from Inline 2, but I think I ended up buying it from Butler along with like a new oil pan seal. I can tell you, I got a ton of parts. You can see I have a roller timing chain there, better timing chain. Obviously, this is just going to stay on, it has no use anymore. But I'm getting ready to do the intake install and the new timing cover install. And this is the 69 and up. You can see I made some modifications to it on some of the equipment at work. I've got some really cool guys at work that could help me out here. It helps when you own the machine shop. But I've got most of the engine here cleaned up real nice. I left the old distributor in just so it would plug up eventually just to plug it up so I could get everything painted up real nice. But it really turned out pretty darn nice. I'm actually quite happy. And what I primed it with this wrong one here. That's the clear, with this Raptor gray paint. This is good to 600 F, and they have another one that goes to 2000. But then what I've been doing is once I paint this, I'm hitting it with light misting of this satin clear. And it doesn't change the color of it. I did the underside, and you can see here, I hit this with the satin clear, and it's nice and smooth now. And I'm hoping that that'll help a little bit. Keep it, like a light mist of it will keep it from discoloring. We'll see. Valve covers are off. They're getting nicer ones. And I think it's the Tin Indian Performance. I'm going to say I'm almost positive it's the Tin Indian Performance ones. And I'm going to put that with probably dual breathers, or at least one breather and one fill on it. Probably go with the 3.1 inch valve cover, so a little bit better sheet metal ones. More than likely, I'm leaving this in natural and spraying it clear, and you can see it's the EFI manifold. So, and you can see the injectors, multi-point fuel injection. So this is going to be a fun project. But I got the intake gaskets on. Let me get the bolts in, torque it down, and then I can talk a little bit more about what I'm doing. But for now, this is, let's just keep moving. Okay, so I got the intakes now on, and they tell you what the bolt pattern is for it. But if I remember correctly, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then it goes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they're just 25 foot-pounds. I got some nice bolts from Edelbrock, and I dropped the package into the oil here, but that's the part number for that. It says for the 2159. If you could see that, I don't know how good you're going to be able to see that. That's the Performer intake. So that's this guy, actually, sitting right there. So works for that, works for this. They look good. I got to wipe it down a little bit because then I'm going to seal coat it with the Raptor paint. But pretty darn happy. You can see the oil is kind of mixed up between old oil and the nicer stuff. I got to just cycle that through quite a bit. I got a new oil pan sitting in the living room. So this is just loosely sitting there, but I'm starting to get pretty excited. I'm going to work on getting the timing cover on now and start putting all that together. All right, folks, I apologize if I'm moving real fast through here. I got the timing cover. These 4 bolts are in. I just kind of want to back up for a second to kind of explain what we're doing here. So obviously you see the gasket that's in between this, but I don't want to waste any time. So first thing I did was make sure that when you're doing a timing, if you're setting your Pontiac engine up for ignition timing on number 1 cylinder. You want the cam dot directly up, and obviously this vertical. I did a few rotations. The compression's phenomenal in this engine. Got that, so I know it's vertical, and now I'm kind of installing everything now before I really get going. Then I gotta pop this guy loose. But these bolts go on. I coated both sides of the gasket. I first installed it. Do not forget the centering pieces that go in here on either side of the block. It comes with a good kit like the one I got from Butler. It has like the water pump set up and everything. And what I'm doing here is I'm lightly coating this surface, and be prepared to have gloves because you're gonna need it. And I coated this surface so that it can grab the gasket that I'm gonna put up there. And then I gotta put this one on top of that gasket, and then, an RTV between each one of them, and I got the extra gasket there. So it's a sandwich of gaskets, and we gotta make sure that the clearance is good on this. So I'm gonna do that once I get this one up, and we're gonna keep plowing along here because I got some water pumps to tighten up here. They provide you these really nice studs that help you get your gaskets on and kind of line everything up, and then once you get them on, you put 2 more bolts in to kind of just get everything tightened down in place. One thing that I didn't really go into much, this is clearance for the timing reluctor wheel that's added on it. And in here, I trimmed this down. I hope this is good enough. If not, I will be masking this off to paint this whole thing. I'm debating on whether or not I want to leave it natural and hit it with clear. But for now, I'm going to paint it Pontiac blue because that's the right color for it. But let me keep rolling here so my RTV doesn't set. Okay, something I don't think I mentioned, you gotta make sure you install these guys with the rubber gaskets on it. These are the inserts that go in. You can see these already have the pre-installed gaskets that you get from Butler, so the rubber on there. And you'll feel when you put this, when you put the spacer on, like you'll feel it pushing on it. So we can kind of put that guy on now. Let's rotate it over, and we can that on there. Some guys, like you'll see some of the guys on YouTube, they'll put Pour 15 on stuff like that, keep it from rusting. I am not going to do that, mainly because I don't trust that stuff will not break loose and go into the engine. Probably a non-issue, but just to be on the safe side. So got this steel plate on. We're gonna put the other gasket on it, and then once we have that buttered up, it's water pump time, and then from there, I'll mask everything off and get ready to actually spray it, but we're gonna let it cure up real nice, all right? All right, so you can see I got the gasket on here. It's all nice and RTV'd up. Not too much, but not too little. And then I got my helper here, Benny. He's got the water pump here.
Hi.
He's been helping out. You've been running. What are you doing? You've been running around playing baseball, getting all sweaty?
Yes.
All right, so you're gonna help me get this water pump on. Here you go. What I'll do is I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'll do it off camera, and then I'll kind of walk you through what I did. All right, so this is awesome. The water pump's on. All these bolts are 15 foot-pounds. Pretty much every single one of them. I just used my inch-pound one, so $1.80 inch-pounds. And I got this on here. I'm going to draw a little line on here to scribe it just so I know it's still at top dead center of cylinder 1 on the ignition side of things. So, but, overall, pretty darn happy. You can see in here, I didn't get all the blue in here. I do have a jug of blue over there. I'm going to see if I could come in there with a little bit, and on both sides, because I wasn't sure how much I needed to spray. I really do like the way this looks because it contrasts the upper part of the intake pretty well, but I may just end up taping it off and spraying the whole damn thing once it, priming and spraying it again. So I'd have to come in here and, I didn't spray behind it and stuff, so that might be a pain in the ass. So I have to mask this off real good and mask in behind here. But I really do like the way it looks. I could come in here and I got this other paint that I could brush in real nice, or I could mask in behind this pretty easily and just spray in on that and leave this then clear over it and kind of cross my fingers and hope that it doesn't discolor over a period of time. But I think I could definitely clear over top of it. I cleared over the intake on the back. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what I think about it. I kind of like it. So what do you guys think? I'm going to start working on a few more things here. This is a huge step in the right direction. So I think it's now a matter of kind of cleaning up some stuff, throwing some boxes out, and then start working on the top end of this motor. I'm going to have to mask things off and start clearing the whole thing. I did clear underneath, but I want to start clearing the whole deal. So I got to get some blue in these areas here, and then once I do that, I should be in good shape moving forward. Alrighty, so pretty straightforward. You know, the normal evolution of the engine. So you'll notice it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. That will die down. I'm actually using a matte clear, satin clear, and it's this Raptor flame proof 100K, 1K Pro. It's not the greatest paint, but we're gonna give it a shot and see how it goes for just keeping the aluminum in good shape and kind of keeping the blue for the long, as long as it can last. But you notice I didn't really paint the oil pan. That's because I still have to tear it off, pull the gasket off, clean that all up. And I got a brand new Canton pan there. It's a stock pan that has a baffle in it. Should work on the stock. Oh, sorry, looking kind of stupid there with the glasses on there. But I got a lot of stuff to still put on the engine. So I have the Canton pan. I'm going to flip it over, but I want to put a hose on it. I want to get the balancer on. I did a lot of work there, and this is actually, let me bring you in for. Okay, so as part of the work that's for the second gen engineering balancer, you have to really cut this back, and I leave a little bit on there. You can kind of see the end of the one here, but we shouldn't be anywhere out that far. But ground these back on the new cover. And I ground these down a little bit more just to make sure that I was very clear with the balancer because it has the reluctor wheel on it. And let me walk over there, and I apologize. I'm moving parts all over the place here, so it's a bit of a mess in here, more than usual. But you can see here, let's get this cleared out. So you can see, the balancer has the 24X reluctor wheel on it. And I'll get this mounted to the engine here, soon. And I probably spend a good amount of time specifically just talking through that portion of it. Got this the other day. This is awesome. This is, let me not spill this all over. So I believe this is also from Kaufman. Yeah, Kaufman Racing Equipment. And what's cool about this is their own version for an adapter for the oil filter, and it changes the angle so that it's splayed out a little bit. It's more perpendicular to how it mounts on the block versus tucked in like this. And what that does, and I'm just gonna clear over it like I did on the other pieces. But what's good about that is I have a set of headers that I want to put on it, and I'm not gonna be using this for the pressure. I got really nice gauges that I'm going to be going with on this, but I got the intakes all plugged up. This is all cleared over. I'm going to let this dry real nice. And then we're going to get started with the CVF serpentine belt set up on it. I've got suspension parts. I got the oil pan gasket. Actually, we'll probably flip this thing and put the oil pan gasket and the oil pan on it first, just to get that done once I put the balancer on. Because you can see this is set up, and you can see this mark right here. This thing, oops, sorry, help with that, is marked for top dead center on cylinder 1. So I need that because once I put the balancer back on and we get everything kind of lined up, I'm going to want to make sure top dead center in here. But now I got a bunch of parts here. So this is done. This is a water pump pulley I'm not going to use. I got the flow cooler water pump on there, so that's awesome. So this box is just about done, I think. Actually, yeah, I think it's pretty much done, so I can put that away. This guy's got the oil pan gasket in. I got to be super careful with that. And part of the reason I got the Canton pan is because it's the 69 and up pan, so it has the oil drain on the side, which is kind of not as good as the stock 68. Right there, but it has provisions for the better oil pan sealing gasket, and that thing was so sludged up and jacked up that forget it, I'm just going to redo it. But this thing's looking good, pretty happy with it. I'm going to start collecting all the parts, boxing them up for the stock stuff. And then we're going to keep plowing forward. We're making some short work of this, I'll tell you what. And I've got all this stuff sitting here still. This is all the brake stuff. I'll put the old intake inside this box, get it up on the shelf. But I got to clean this whole thing out. For now, I got the 400 transmission. I want to get that out of there. I am probably, just for budget purposes, because I am going broke on this, I am going to more than likely just stick with the 400 in this, just because it's got the 323 gears in it, and I'll do the fuel injection on that and the 323 gears, because I'm not, for right now, I just want to get this thing running and driving. I know it's probably counterintuitive, and I probably should do it, but we're talking like $2,800 to get that thing rebuilt, and I just don't, to be totally transparent, I just don't have the time to tear this thing apart and do it myself. And I've done one 4L80 before, and I mean, for the amount of time I used it, it was great. It worked great, but I never found out whether or not I really knew what I was doing. It did work, so it's great. But then I sold the car, and I gave somebody a smoking deal for the transmission, all that stuff. That was the Cutlass. If you remember early on, was sitting in this mess of an area, but now my wife's Jeep top is here, and I got a bunch of other crap like Christmas decorations and all that stuff. So for now, I think what I'm going to do is, once we let this dry, we're going to keep buttoning this thing up and kind of call this engine good. And I'm going to start putting all the other the various accessories and things like that on it, because I want to get some of these boxes out of here. But yep, let's keep rolling. We're going to work on getting the injectors installed. So I had to get these Edelbrock rails holders. I got a really nice set of rails. These are not the prettiest looking pieces of metal, but they will do. They're going to stand right off of this and offset it. And I'm going to use these injectors right over here on my LS3 intake. So this is not the original intake off my SS. I actually sold that a while back. I got this off of a guy I sold my first blower to that was off this car, the ported blower, and I got this in exchange when I was running NA for a while. So what I got to do, very straightforward, just to kind of keep things moving here, we're going to pull off the fuel rails. Here, this comes out of here. I got to pull all this out. But get the fuel rails off of it. I got to take these bolts off here, get the injectors out. So I'm just going to do a simple injector removal on each one of these, put them in, install them in here in the injector ports, mount this guy, these guys in place, and then install the rails. And that shouldn't really take much work to do. I got to see if I have a little bit of grease. I may end up just putting a little bit of oil on it, just to make things go better. And to be honest with you, this is an absolute disaster in here, so I couldn't even tell you where it is. And I just slammed my ankle on the spoiler. On the there's a little bit of lube there, but I had a tub of it. And I do believe that it finally went bye-bye. I think I finally consumed it, or I cleaned up to the point where I can't find it anymore. So that's the way it goes. I know it's like an absolute disaster in here, but I've got all my wife's Jeep stuff in here. I got bicycles. I got, just old car parts I'm getting ready to ship out. So it's just my wife's wheels and tires from her Jeep originally. So I've lost control of my garage. Eventually, I'm going to be doing a clean sweep in here, but I digress. Let's get to getting these injectors in. All right, guys, I had to cut in here to show you the progress I was making. It's very late night, so you're probably going to hear a cricket in here, but I got the fuel injection system on. I haven't mentioned, I got the balancer I still got to put on, but she's really starting to look awfully nice, especially for, the GTO, who looks great from here. Camera does wonders, but, she definitely has some rot all on the quarter there. We got it, in the fender back there. We got this whole sail panel's rotting off. Like, it was sell me white, right? But, flashy red, sell me red. But this engine sure is starting to look really nice. It's barely over stock, but I don't care. This is going to prove out all the fuel injection stuff on it. I got my Wilson's manifold. I think it's like 1100 or 1200 CFM throttle body. Edelbrock fuel rails. I got the correct stands for this. EV6 injectors out of an LSA. So basically CTSV blower, and that was actually the blower that I reinstalled on this. I put much better injectors in this guy. I cleaned these up. Originally, I was going to use the ones off the LS3, intake, but they were for some reason like super dirty and ratty. So I didn't feel comfortable cleaning them up. I forgot that I had these injectors in here. Cleaned them up. Had some adapters caps from my old injectors way back. My fuel injector clinic had the blue O-ring on the top of that worked perfectly in the Pontiac intake. So I swapped over the O-rings, cleaned them up real good, slapped them in here, got the rails on. I put the Edelbrock symbol facing in because I just don't like the way it looks. So I put them facing in so you can't really see them. And then I got these valve covers. I couldn't spend, $550, $600 on a set of valve covers. So I spent, like $30, $40 on a set of really good gaskets from Tin Indian Performance. And might have over-tightened that a little bit, so I got to check, see if hopefully that's not popping out. But I got really good valve cover gaskets, and these valve covers from a company called Booz Performance, B-O-U-S. And here you go, B-O-U-S. And they're just a sheet metal valve cover that is cleared over. They're not perfect, but they look damn nice on it. I like the way this is all coming together. I'm pretty darn happy. Like I said, I still have a lot to do. I'm going to put the fuel injection stuff on, get the old distributor out. I got to flip it, put the new oil pan on. That's sitting over there, but I'm finally starting to consolidate boxes here and throw it out. And I got a little something right there that I may or may not have mentioned from before, but we got, some Bose Flow Light. They're like they're flow-formed wheels. And, of course, I don't have it where okay, there we go. So this is see if I can do this without the thing rotating on me. 18 by 9.5, and we got an 18 by 8 up front. And it's the 10-spoke design. Polished, it's got like a polished inner side with a painted silver on it. I think that will look awfully nice on this and modernize it a little. If I don't like it, I could always sell them. They go on pretty much any other muscle car, but I think I'm really going to dig them for this because of with the stance and everything that's going on with the car. It's going to be lowered 2 inches. I think it'll look really, really nice. They make really nice wheels. These were ridiculously cost-effective for what I had to do. So I said, to hell with it. I'm going to get them, and why not remain in debt? So there we go. So we got the underside. And you can see there's a couple spots where I got to touch up a little better, get some paint on the block. I just missed it. Hard to paint upside down. But we got the new Butler gasket on it. I got to still put some adhesive in the corners here and in that back corner there just to make sure everything seals on the 2 corners over there to make sure it seals really well. But I got the new Canton pan there, and I got bolts. So I'm going to start putting this thing together and see if I can get this buttoned up, and then I'll do a little touch-up painting from underneath, and I'll effectively be done all of this stuff. Here's that Canton pan I was talking about. It's nothing too fancy. It is definitely set up for the later 69 and up with the drain on the side there, but it has a little bit of a baffle, so I could do a little bit more spirited driving, but it's not like really a Pro Touring pan with like traditional baffles. But for this, it'll be good enough. I'll mask off the engine, hit this with some primer, and then tomorrow I'll spray bomb it with the good stuff. All right, guys, I got this thing pretty well finished up here. I'm gonna eventually let this dry and then eventually flip it over. The Canton pan was good, although I got to be honest with you. Let me flip this around and talk with you. I was less than thrilled with the Butler gasket that I put on here. It's a gasket that has it's like steel and I'm not gonna say neoprene or like rubber, something like that on it that you had to kind of bend, but man, was it a pain in the butt to make sure that it's sealed properly in the back. So I think it did. I had to trim a couple things just to make it fit right, but I'm really hoping that this thing seals properly. I got it bolted on pretty darn tight, but we'll see. Let me flip around. You can see, you see it sticking out here. I got like some paint on it here, but this is under the lip. So this is, this is tight, but it sticks out in a few spots. I got the reinforcement straps on it and stuff. So, I mean, it's tight, but You know, I'm almost beginning to wonder if it would make more sense to use the other setup. But overall, happy with it. It's weird. When you look at it in person, you don't see the stripes as much. But when you look at it here, you can kind of see inconsistencies with the paint. But it's the oil pan. It's going to be down in there. I don't really care. You can see, like, on the block, it definitely looks different than how it looks on the oil pan. Very interesting. But in any event, it's got the satin clear on both surfaces. I got this thing all unmasked now. I'm going to flip it over here in a little bit so that I can start putting on the balancer and start getting all the complicated parts on. All right, baby, balancer is on with the reluctor wheel. I definitely had to carve this down a bit more than expected, especially in the corners here. But overall, it's covered up nice, looks decent. Not going to complain about it. Everything gets covered up real nice, and you're not going to see it from up over top of the engine. So overall, good. Pretty darn happy with the way this turned out. I think what I'm going to do, and I don't know if I want to put any more weight on the front of this, but I may put the accessory drive on. But for now, I think what I'll do is get the, get the rest of the electronics pieces on here. So I'll get the cam sensor on it. I got it over there. And then I got, the cam sensor goes right here. And then I got the an ignition trigger up top there that I haven't put in yet. But I think for now, I might break this video up. I'll focus on that specifically and talk more about how to get the ignition pieces on. But for now, we're looking good. We're looking at top dead center. So looking pretty good there. I'm hoping, I've measured a couple times. Obviously, when you go to torque things down, moves a little bit, but should be good enough to get this ignition in, and we can go from there. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I probably have metal shavings all over my place because I had to take the balancer on and off half a dozen times here to clean it up. But appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. I know this is a pretty heavy-duty video. This is a long one here, but made a lot of progress. Engine looks great. We're going to keep pushing forward to get it to the point I'm going to pull the transmission out. You can see it laying on the floor there. It spilled a ton. We're going to get that pulled out, and then we're going to get that cleaned up. That'll be a separate video. But for now, appreciate you watching. We'll catch you next time.